that. But another incoming team into the Big 12 from the Pac-12, and Arizona State having quite the run with Kenny Dillingham, and we're joined by Chris Karpman from SunDevilSports.com. We've had Chris on back during all that fun of realignment time. Chris, thanks for your time. How red hot is Arizona State and Dillingham right now when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, they're keeping me very busy, put it that way. ASU has more transfer commitments than any other school in the country right now, sitting second to behind Colorado in the transfer portal rankings overall. They're doing a very good job. I just think that one of their biggest areas of need is offensive line. Probably could use 2 or 3 transfers who could start right away, and they haven't secured any of those guys as yet. But throughout the rest of the roster, they're doing a very good job.
Chris, is there a renewed sense of energy with Kenny Dillingham, an alum, a local in there, and now Ray Anderson out the door as the AD as they move into the Big 12, even though that was not something that everybody wanted to do? But is there more juice now than there was just 6 months ago?
Very much so. There has been a sort of coming out of the shadows, if you will. People are like kind of peeking around and they see that the storm has passed, and now the sun is out. They're trying to see if that's going to last. Basically, there's a little bit of still sort of concern about the damage that's been left behind and the ability to recover from all of this, but there was a prominent booster meeting a couple weeks ago that Dillingham gave an impassioned speech at that helped the Sun Angel Collective get commitments from more than $1 million from just about a dozen people, and they have had a subsequent matching effort to drive in more donations. So I feel like something that was in really bad shape for quite a long time, some probably 30 or so months of the NCAA investigation period until really just recently with Ray Anderson's decision to step down, things are now, I think, getting into a much healthier place.
Chris, the quarterback position, they just got Sam Leavitt out of the transfer portal from Michigan State. I know there's always something that seems like cryptic going on when it comes to Jaden Rashada or people talking about Jaden Rashada. Had to use a lot of quarterbacks this past season. But what is kind of the state of that position, and moving forward, what does the outlook appear to be?
Well, Kenny Dillingham just needed to upgrade that room. You can't worry too much about the feelings of someone who may or may not be ready to lead you to a successful 2024 season. And I've talked to Jaden Rashada's father and people in the program, and it was pretty clear to that everybody knew that ASU was going to go try to add quality transfer quarterback. And so getting Sam Leavitt, he's a top 20 quarterback in the transfer portal. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school, redshirted, so he's got 4 years of eligibility. He's going to come in and compete to win the job, obviously. And Jaden Rashada, he had something that he posted to social media that was like a, Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality sort of a thing that what I took from that is, let's go. I'm ready to rise to the challenge. So
Gotcha.
There's nothing that has led me to believe right now that Rashada is getting ready to bolt to the transfer portal. I think everybody knows that your market value is best attained if you go in at the front end of the portal. Once a lot of these top schools start taking quarterbacks, then you have less opportunity to monetize that. So I don't think that was his mindset whatsoever after the exit interviews. Now, let's see what happens if, now that he knows that Sam Leavitt is coming in. Let's see what happens with spring football. Let's say that Sam Leavitt looks like he's ahead or something like that. Okay, well then you have another round of things that could happen. But Drew Pine didn't work out. Jacob Conover came in from BYU, not good enough. Trenton Bourget had one touchdown pass or whatever it was in like 6 starts, not good enough. So Dillingham had to upgrade the quarterback position.
Do you think the bold decision at the beginning, I mean, like this was obviously, Chris, not a team that Kenny Dillingham's going to, think about forever as one of his favorite years because of how it went wins and loss wise. But do you think that the bold decision, the suspension that they put on themselves, popped a balloon before the season got started?
Well, I do think that it deflated the balloon to a large degree. You have to keep in mind that the culture was in very bad shape that Dillingham inherited. The prior staff they knew that they were all going to lose their jobs at some point in time, and they had stopped recruiting, and they didn't really have that discipline or intensity that you need. And so the leadership wasn't very good with the team. They've spent a lot of months trying to work on that and address it. You couple that with finding out that you're not going to be able to play in the postseason, and then how much that they had to rebuild their roster, and then the injuries that they had, which were quite significant. More offensive injuries in the first month or so by sometime in September than I had ever seen covering the team. And you just put all that together, and there was just no way that they were going to be able to have a winning season.
Where was Cameron Scatabo in terms of players you've enjoyed watching and covering over the years?
I told everyone that this guy was going to be one of their favorite players. I said it from the rooftops. He's such a throwback. In practices in August when he came in, he would not go down whatsoever. And even if he got stopped, he would then continue running for 20, 30, 40 yards on every single rep. He is just, he's built like a fire hydrant, and he's hard-nosed, hard-headed, blue-collar. I mean, that's the type of thing that you want to get more of those guys because it permeates everything that you're trying to do with your roster and the culture.
One of the players they have lost through the portal as far as weapons go is Jalen Conyers, a Texas guy. I remember watching him back in high school. He's going to Texas Tech. Pretty good player, but for the Tech fans that listen to this show, what kind of a scouting report can you give them on what they're getting in Jalen Conyers?
Really nice guy. He's a good athlete, very good athlete for somebody who's 6'4", 270, but probably should lose 15 to 20 pounds to optimize his athleticism, because he really wants to be and prefers to be a space athlete, somebody who's running around. He has great ball skills. He elevates his level of play when the lights are on, so he's a prime time type of a player. I think that he's been working to become a more steady and reliable person on a day-to-day basis. Practice habits, making sure that you're doing all the little things. I mean, he wasn't bad in those areas, but wasn't a leader. Wasn't like one of the guys that was setting the tone or the example, which is kind of what they had hoped and expected to get from him when he was coming back after the way he concluded the 2022 season, when he had like 30 catches or something in the final 5 games. He had a 3-touchdown performance against Colorado. But just to be totally fair to him, ASU's offense, because of the quarterback and offensive line problem, in no way, shape, or form was able to take advantage of the talent that he possesses, and therefore that sort of leads to maybe a disappointment that then carries on into some of the habits and affects the overall thing. So I think he's introspective enough, and he was very honest that he said, "Hey, I need to do a better job of focusing on being more physical, being a blocker, being well-rounded as a tight end." I think that all of that is going to serve him well, and he probably has a good mindset going in there. 3 hours from his hometown, 3-hour drive. So he's going to have a lot of support there.
Yeah, Roy Melton, who's a Tech fan, was asking about whether or not he's a pretty good blocking tight end, but you feel like that's not going to be a problem?
Well, he's made a lot of progress.
Right.
Remember, coming from small town, high school, played quarterback, space athlete. He goes to Oklahoma. They're not using anything in line at the time in the air raid. He comes to ASU, and so it was like a 2-year process of becoming a blocker. So that's not his strength, but he's made a lot of strides. And I think that as long as he's committed to it, he has the physical tools to be able to do it.
Hey, great stuff, Chris, and we enjoyed what you gave us back during the spring, fall, or summer with all the crazy. Look forward to talking more ASU, the Sun Devils, and throughout the rest of the year, and whatever's left of the rest of the year, but also the offseason into next season. Thank you very much for your time.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Chris Karpman, SunDevilSource.com. By the way,